Local religious groups are making us Chicago proud. Members of Oak Park Temple and new Mount Pilgrim Baptist Church in West Garfield Park recently traveled together to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, yesterday we saw their experience at the National Holocaust Museum. Roz is here now to share their journey at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Roz?
And even though that first day was long and in some cases emotionally draining, many members of the group stayed up late talking about their experience at the Holocaust Museum, the commonalities within their cultures, and the anticipation of what they discover at the African American Museum. With the Washington Monument overlooking its symbolic structure, the 2-year-old National Museum of African American History and Culture is still the hottest ticket in town. The group started with a prayer outside the entrance.
Bless us especially with openness of heart.
The tour began in the lower level with the origins of the Atlantic slave trade, working through the colonial era, antebellum South, Civil War, and freedom. With authentic artifacts and graphic images, it was not an easy exhibit to see. The atrocities at the Holocaust Museum were very difficult for the group, but they found the exhibits at the African American History Museum just as disturbing for different reasons.
You kind of feel as an African American and knowing your own history, you know, why would someone want to do that to your ancestors? But then you look and see that it's not only your ancestors, but it's also a whole nother race of people.
Walked into one of the railroad cars that was used, stuffed with people to transport them to the concentration camps. And then the next day, I go to the African American Museum and see the schematic drawings of the slave ships. The bottom of the ships were just packed, stuffed like that railroad car.
I was standing in line, and an older guy, he comes up and he asked me, "What exhibit is this?" And I'm like, "This is the Emmett Till exhibit." And so he said, "Who is Emmett Till? How did you not know who Emmett Till is?" It made me remember how much I did not know about Holocaust and Jews and what they went through.
The upper floors are a celebration of African American culture, highlighting decades of music, film, television, and pop culture, including Chuck Berry's Cadillac Eldorado. The final stop of the trip was to Sunday morning service at Ebenezer AME Church in Maryland. The takeaway from this trip?
To get into somebody else's story and their narrative, I think, goes a long way toward building understanding.
It's not about changing the world, it's about changing one person at a time.
And both groups agreed they wanted to continue to build relationships between the church and the synagogue, but to let things develop organically, not to force the issue. In fact, the Sunday after the horrific events in Pittsburgh, several members from New Mount Pilgrim came to a special peace and prayer service at Oak Park Temple, showing unity. It was very touching. I was at that service, and there were people from the mosque in Villa Park. There were people from the Christian community. Everybody came together, and that's what this is all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Finding all the commonalities between everybody.
Proof that we have more in common than the things that separate us.
And
Roz.
we do.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Really, really great reporting.